Good morning, YouTube. Sitting in the truck over here at the farm today. It was 68 degrees over here yesterday, I think. I was at work. It's 40 this morning and dropping. It's North Carolina weather, guys. Anyway, got some pretty good news. Well, I got some new stuff. Let's just say it that way. I got me some new parts. And any of you guys out there know it's always exciting to have new parts, especially when you don't get them too often. But I've been getting them pretty regular here lately. So I'm gonna go over here and set up a camera, and I'm gonna get these parts lined up, and I'm gonna show you what I got for the mill. Because it is Sawmill Sunday, even though y'all guys are probably getting tired of watching me work on this thing and not actually saw anything. But I'm trying to get it just right before I start sawing. So let's go over here and set you guys up. So as you can see, I'm still got the old Ford power unit right here. Still in the process of looking. Got a couple possible candidates we're hoping to check out this week. We'll see how they go. Wish me luck. So I was having problems, I'm thinking, with my belts, doing some major slipping. They're B belts. I was told by Miracle Farms man, tractor man, that I probably needed some C belts, and he's right. So I waited and put it off. Finally got some, but not just any some. But we'll get to that in a minute, because that thing is, that whole belt thing is really surprising to me. Anyway, so I worked on a third bearing on this thing, because it's got a little bit of a longer shaft. It ain't as long as some people's, but it was getting a little flex in the shaft, a little more than I like. So I figure this third bearing can't hurt anything. So here's what I've done. Let me show you. Check this out. Look at that. Whoa, my camera just fell. All right, check it out. So I'm going to screw that, bolt that to the floor right through there. But this is holding that out through there, and that should keep it from flexing. If I need to adjust, I'm going to actually drill these out. I didn't do it yet, and have it to where we can adjust this bearing. Right now I got some slide in the bearing. It's just put on there, sort of, I ain't going to say temporary, just to try it out, see how it's going to do. So we got that. I made that yesterday. No, I didn't have a camera and all that stuff, so I didn't show you. But what I basically done is used some 3/8 steel right here, 3/8 thick, 2.5, 3 inches wide. I think it's 2.5. And I made all this. It's 2 foot at the bottom, 1 foot at the top, and then I made a V in the middle to help support it. So most of the pull is sideways pull on this bearing, so that ought to help keep it from moving. Should do the job very well. Pretty sure. I don't know what's moving. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So I got that going on. Pretty happy about that with that bearing. I started this thing up the other day, and about ran me out of here, choked me to death. So I realized, you know what, I'm starting to close this thing in. I'm going to have to get this exhaust out somewhere. So I went to town, and I got some stovepipe, conduit pipe, or not conduit pipe. It's like stovepipe, it's ductwork pipe. It's not quite as thick as the good heavy stovepipe, but what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to put me a hole way up there in the corner out, and I'm going to hang it. It's going to hang on cable and hang down at an angle and go back in. It's going to elbow right in the top of that, so it's going to go up and out. And that way, the reason I'm hanging it on cables is so that if I put a different power unit in here and I need to move or adjust, it won't be a hard move or adjust. You just move the cables. You can pick it up, set it off to the side, pick it up, set it back on, whatever. It'll sort of swing with any, wind or whatever, but I don't think it'll be enough pressure from anything to really blow that up the way it's going to hang. So I got that. And I got something from Amazon. I keep going around this. I got something from Amazon. It's a, I'll think of it in just a second while I walk you over here. It's basically, there we go. It's tack. It's tack that actually is a shaft-driven tack. So what that means is, once I set this up, I'll actually put this on the shaft of the mill. And from then on, I won't have to worry about what's the motor running, taking my little laser. I mean, I still like my little laser to where I can actually check it at different places to double check this. But what this will do is it's just a little digital readout. Comes with the wires and plugs and all that stuff, and it's got a magnet base. You put that little magnet that's hanging there, right there, you stick it to the shaft. I'm gonna probably glue this to the shaft that way it don't fling off, and then you make you a little plate there to screw that to. It runs off a 12 volt is what it says. You hook it up, wires up to your 12 volt battery source, which I'll have a battery here for my log turner anyway, so that'll work. I'm gonna mount this probably right up there next to my, I don't know if you guys can see right there, that's my throttle cable. I'm gonna go just above that and mount that up, so that way I can watch, and if I need to adjust up just a little bit, say my governor is not doing exactly its job, especially with those old motors and stuff, or if I'm bogging it real hard, I know that my saw, it ain't just a matter of feel, because when I convert this thing over to hydraulic, I won't be as apt to know with the feel of it. Like right now I can feel it in the belts. You can kind of feel it, you know, starting and start slowing down. But when you go to hydraulic, you're bypassing all that. So you really want to kind of keep an eye on that. And that way I'll know if I start slowing down and start seeing a drastic drop, tease off of it just a little bit, or back it out, or something other ain't right. So I think that'll be a huge lifesaver. It wasn't but like 20 bucks. It was a pretty good deal, so I hope it works. Had good reviews. We'll see. Now, we go get what I want to see. So, from my understanding, for what I've been told, they call these things a power pack belts. There are probably different names out there for them. That's just what a guy told me. Check this thing out, guys. It's a flat belt, full 1/8 inch flat belt, thick, on top of, I don't know if you can see inside there, V-belts. See that? 5 V-belts. It's 5 C V-belts with a flat belt liner on top of it. This thing is massive. I don't know if you guys can really justify. My hands is pretty big. I'm 6'6", and I mean it's as wide as my hand. So that thing is massive. It's 180 inches is what size the belt is. This should cure any slippage. And the reason I went with this, for 2 reasons. Just got lucky and found it, for one. That was a big reason. Price was another one. Because by the time I bought 5 C belts, they costed more than this thing did. Got it from Amazon as well. They didn't have many in stock. It was just it was 5 C180s V belt. But the thing about it is, from my understanding of belts, when you buy V belts, a lot of times there's different lengths in them, just a little bit. So you may have like 2 of them that's really good and tight, and then there'll be 2 that's not. And that's what I've been having problems with. Like I got 2 on there. Right now I got 4 belts, and I got 2 on there that's pretty good and tight whenever I tighten it up. But the other 2 ain't. And I thought, well, maybe I'm a little twisted or something, but it's not. I'm actually twisted the opposite way. So those are a little bit shorter. When they start stretching, they stretch a little bit more than the rest of them. So they just feel loose. This will cure that. If you got, they're all tied together, so they're all the same size. As long as everything's straight, you're pulling even pressure. They're bigger, So that'll be a big plus. That's the reason I put that little block in there. It's a 1-inch block. I don't know if y'all guys noticed that. The reason I done that was so that we can take that little 1-inch block out, peck it out. I can put these belts in, put that back in. I don't have to unbolt, hopefully, the whole carriage unit. It has gotten cold over here quick. So today, I don't know how much I'll get done, but I'm going to attempt to just kind of work on some of the stuff that I got going on, some of the new parts that I got work on, getting them sort of set up in that direction. Probably going to work on my belt thing first. I'm going to drill some little holes and put me some screws directly into the floor first. Then I'm going to drill a little bigger holes when I get the size lag bolts that I want, and I'm going to lag bolt it into the floor. Because I can't really get under the floor to bolt it in any way other. So I'm going to lag bolt that in, but at first I'm going to screw it in just to try it out. It shouldn't have enough pull on it to make that much difference on the slide, as long as there's something there blocking it from moving. So I think it'll be fine. There wasn't a whole lot on it to start with. These belts is going to do more than really that, as far as justifying the slippage. But yeah, this belt is awesome. So I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna just get it on there, see what happens. Okay, so got it started. This thing is stiff, but you can see it's got a little bubble right there, but I'm gonna have to move the motor this way pretty hard before I start bringing it back, because all of them's got to go on at the same time. So it ain't like before I could roll one on, then the other one on, and so on. It does make it a little easier than this, but hopefully this is a, I don't want to say one-time thing, because I hope to upgrade the power unit, but hopefully I don't have to do this but just a couple more times. That being said, this thing is nice. It's as loose as it can be right now. I mean, you see it's just floppy loose, and it's still got enough just natural weight and gripping surface that as I try to move it, it's moving everything. So man, this thing is not gonna slip. Something's gonna break, unfortunately. I hope it don't happen. Knock on some wood. Good Lord willing, nothing breaks, but this thing is not gonna slip. That thing is massive and heavy too. So I wish I'd brought my toboggan. I think I might have one in the truck. Anyway, I'm gonna get this motor, I'm gonna slide it over a little bit more and try to get the belt on. Once I get the belt on, then I'll snug it back up, and then I'm gonna work on trying to get this exhaust possibly piped out. I'm gonna hold off on my tack because I got a little box I want to make for it to hold it where I want it over there, but I ain't decided exactly where I want to mount it just yet, like within inches. So I got to do that, but hopefully if we can get this belt on, like I say, if it doesn't rain on us much this week, I'm hoping to get the mill up and sawing something this week, maybe next, because with all the time put into it here, we are getting some more digging done. I don't know if you can see the dirt back yonder on the house. That old backhoe is slow digging. It's in a lot of rock right now, and we only get about 2 or 3 hours of dig time a day when they are able to dig. So no rush. I'm working on this. I get this mill up and going. That'll be a big push anyway. So got to get it going to cut stuff for the house. So yeah, a lot going on. But I'm gonna try to get that belt on. I'll show you guys. Alright, so I ain't got it tight yet. I got it still pretty loose, but I got it snugged up. That system works great. Once it's done, it's done. But if you're doing like I'm doing, going back and forth a lot, it's a pain. It doesn't make it easy to change belts. Now, once this system's put on there for good, the fact that you don't have to loosen it up very often, it'll be fine if I continue to use something along these lines. Because you don't change belts on these very much. Not on this style setup. I mean, I don't expect to need to change belts very often. My father-in-law, he's run one. It's not commercial, so that helps. But he sawed out a couple houses and only changed one set of belts, and he wasn't running but like 3 belts on his. So the capability is there. So I think this will be fine for many years. That being said, I'm gonna get a little drill bit, and I'm gonna drill out some small holes in that, and I'm gonna put me some deck screws in it, and that'll help keep it from shifting easily when I go to snug that belt up until I can replace it with lag bolts. I do plan on replacing it with lag bolts. I'll take out one screw at a time and drill out the hole a little bigger and then lag bolt it in, and that'll be more of a permanent setup. This eventually will have all covered, so there won't be any need to worry about anything catching you. But man, I love that belt. That looks so nice on there. Look at that thing. It looks like the old school flat belt. You know, the that used to run these mills, but it's not. It's nice. It's really nice. And worth every penny. Honestly, guys, I ain't even gonna lie. That one, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, belts are high. Belts, if I bought the belts individually, I was gonna be out almost 50 bucks a belt. Between 40 and 50 bucks, depending on what belt you use, brand. So, that would have been 250 bucks. Yeah. 250 bucks for 5 belts. I paid $156 for that. And I know it's kind of high in one sense, but $156 for that massive of a belt, man, that's not bad. I'm not going to complain about that. Don't get me wrong, I'm a pretty cheap guy when it comes down to it, and I don't like spending money as much as anybody else, but that's a really nice belt for that. It's a pretty good name too. I think it's the same belts that I got here. Actually, I think they're D&D. It was the brand on it. So, and all in all, I've had pretty good luck out of them. It's just too small. They sunk down in there too far, and you can tell how slick they've gotten. They just feel really slick. They don't feel like they got any grip no more to them, where they've slipped a few times too many. But anyway, I'm gonna get some screws and put that down. Okay, So belt's tight. I got a couple screws in that. I'd like to have got more, but automatically you're gonna have to do is take it off and drill it from the bottom because the drill won't drill it down from the top. So when I go to put the lag bolts in it, I'll do that. I don't plan on doing any sawing, so the only tensions there is that. And that bearing is just to help with a little extra tension that's on the belt to keep from any kind of flex in the shaft that might allow slippage. So even a couple screws with the way it's designed, it should be fine. Because most of the force is down to a degree, so it's putting even more weight on it. Plus it's at an angle. As long as it can't scoot, you're fine. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now probably is I'm going to try to get this thing started. And if I can get it started, I'm going to check the RPM there and there now that with the new belt. The reason I've done this, I got online, got some calculations, got an actual online calculator, so I knew my calculations were right. And with that size pulley and that size pulley down to the right, it was within. That one was running like supposed to be running like 1900, and that one was supposed to be running like 600 RPM. Right now I'm having to push almost 2200, or before I was almost having to push 2200 RPM almost there to get 600 RPM here. So I'm hoping I'm a little closer within that range. I understand there could be a little bit of fluctuation in my gauge, but if it's reading high here, it should have been reading high here. You know what I mean? So if it's high across the board, you set it to where you're good on your blade, and no matter what, you got to run up here. So yeah, but it was high one spot, low another, so it was like there was slippage going on, major slippage, and didn't even have a load put on it. So I'm gonna get that thing started up and try it out. But yeah, just is what it is.